Aaron Rodgers and his team leaked to basically every media member associated with the NFL that Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay, that he had demanded a trade, that so far the Packers have not been willing to follow him in that request. So, what is going on here? How would we assess this drama? What's likely to end up happening? Let's start here. Aaron Rodgers is 37 years old. He just won the MVP in the NFL and arguably played his best season of all time. In the last 10 years, since he won his first and only Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers, the Packers have had an opportunity to draft 10 times, from 27 years old to 37 years old, during which time they have had arguably the best quarterback of his generation purely from a talent perspective. Not the most winning, not the greatest in the postseason, all those things. Arguably the best quarterback of his generation is Aaron Rodgers. Guys like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning sit around and look at throws that Aaron Rodgers makes and say, we couldn't do that, okay? So, 10 drafts. The Packers have drafted defensive players 9 times. Sound like Ferris Bueller there. 9 times they have drafted defensive players with their first pick in the draft. The only time they drafted an offensive skill position player to theoretically help Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, the quarterback that they drafted last year to replace him in 2020. So I understand why Aaron Rodgers is angry. I talked about this last year. You're in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. You lose, you go into the offseason, and you use your first-round pick on a guy who never takes the field for you in 2020, and then you end up losing in the NFC Championship game again, partly because you don't have good enough corner play and you get picked apart by Brady and company late in the first half, in particular when Scotty Williams beats your guys deep. I'd be furious if I were Aaron Rodgers. And I think that's what this is all about. It's still directly connected to the decision to draft Jordan Love. So how do you resolve it? Where do we go from here? If I were the Packers, this is me sitting back and pretending that I was an executive representing the Green Bay Packers. I would go to Aaron Rodgers and I would say, we are going to trade Jordan Love. And we will pay you the highest salary in the NFL for the next 3 years. Because what the Packers did when they drafted Jordan Love was they gambled that Aaron Rodgers was done. They gambled that he didn't have anything left in the tank. And oh, by the way, he clearly does, and he showed them. So I would suggest tearing up his existing contract, signing him to a 3-year extension, making him the highest paid quarterback in the entirety of the NFL. And I would also tell him, we're going to trade Jordan Love. He's not the future of this organization anymore. We understand we shouldn't have done that. And we're going to try to trade him and get an offensive weapon for you. I'm just tossing it out there. I don't know that the Falcons would do it. What if the Packers called the Falcons and said, we'll give you Jordan Love, a quarterback of the future potentially for your franchise, in exchange for Julio Jones? I'm not sure that the Falcons would do it. Probably they would not. But that's the kind of move that you could make if you were the Packers to try to get Aaron Rodgers back in your good graces. So that's what I would do if I were the Packers. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I do exactly what I'm doing now. I let it be known that I want out, and I think the reason why Aaron Rodgers wants out is simple, because he saw what happened with Tom Brady when he left the Patriots. Brady got to survey the entire landscape of the NFL and go join the team that had more talent on offense than any team he'd ever played with before. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Cameron Brate, before he got hurt, O.J. Howard, Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette. This was a more skilled offensive team than Tom Brady had ever had. And I think that's what Aaron Rodgers is looking around saying, hey, the Packers have took my talents for without respecting them. They've taken them for granted. And that's why they've been drafting all these defensive players, because they think I can make anybody look like a Pro Bowler because I'm that talented on the offensive side of the ball. Not to say the Packers don't have talent. Devontae Adams, Tunyon, there are guys, there's a lot of running backs that have had success. But I think a large measure of that success is directly predicated on Aaron Rodgers being their quarterback. So, I never would have believed this, but Aaron Rodgers can actually use jeopardy as leverage if he doesn't want to play in the NFL anymore. He can say, look, I've already won a Super Bowl. I'm a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer. I'm still healthy. I'm 37, going on 38 years old. I can go out at the absolute apex of my career, winning the MVP and not returning. And I can play hardball by taking the job to host Jeopardy if they really want me to potentially be one of the guys to replace Alex Trebek. I think that is an incredible, powerful move that Aaron Rodgers has. So, if the Packers are aware that Aaron Rodgers is willing to sit out, where could they trade him if they're trying to get assets? I think the place that he would go, beyond a shadow of a doubt that makes the most sense, the Denver Broncos. Why do I think the Denver Broncos make the most sense? Because they have right now Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater as their quarterbacks. They intentionally passed at pick 9 on Justin Fields and on Mac Jones, which feels a bit strange if they were not already trying to work on a deal with the Green Bay Packers. And much like John Elway and Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers could try to win a second Super Bowl and ride off into the sunset as a Bronco winning quarterback. The Broncos haven't had any success replacing John Elway other than the 4 years that they had Peyton Manning, which was obviously very successful. Rodgers would be in the AFC West. We'd have games against Patrick Mahomes twice a year. Justin Herbert, pity the poor Raiders, who we'll talk about here in a moment. To me, the most likely destination is the Denver Broncos because they have the biggest and best opening at the quarterback position. Washington does a bit as well. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they need a backup long term for Ben Roethlisberger. But to me, the long-range play here, the one that makes the most sense, is the Packers trade Aaron Rodgers to the Broncos. Also comes with the benefit of getting him outside of the NFC so you don't have to play against him in order to get back to the Super Bowl. And if you truly love Jordan Love, who you decided was the future of your franchise, this gives you an opportunity to start to play him. That would be my solution working through. One wild card that I haven't heard anybody talk about. If I am the Houston Texans, I get on the phone with the Green Bay Packers and I say, hey, would you trade me straight up Aaron Rodgers for Deshaun Watson? Might sound crazy, but Deshaun Watson, everybody stopped talking about it, still has the 22 sexual assault charges out there. You know that he is a proven quarterback if you are the Green Bay Packers. Getting 12 years younger than Aaron Rodgers, in theory, that might be a deal that they would consider. Now, I don't think Aaron Rodgers would be willing to go to Houston because who would? It's a mess of a situation, even worse than the vast majority of the problems that he has with the Green Bay Packers right now. But I'd be on the phone if I was the Texans trying to see if that is a trade that potentially the Green Bay Packers would be willing to make. Why not at least somewhat consider that as a possibility? So that is my analysis of the Aaron Rodgers situation. I am fascinated by it. We now have a dual situation, a little bit like Deshaun Watson, where you demand a trade, but you don't know exactly how it's going to shake out. And we'll have to see what happens over the ensuing days, weeks, and months.